Hello, hello, hello. Once again, to all my melanated brothers and sisters, both of the motherland and of the diaspora, the melanated kings and queens, gods and goddesses, no matter what your religion or your title or your affiliation, I welcome you all to another video by me, Amaria the Seer. Today we're going to be talking about the newly appointed federal holiday called Juneteenth and what it means for us and my thoughts about it, okay? But first, let me say the copyright disclaimer in case I happen to say somebody else's words or read somebody else's reports. I want to be covered. So the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So, whatever I say in this video is covered under the Copyright Act of 1976. It's for informational purposes, and I'm trying to just share some knowledge and wisdom and understanding and my thoughts about certain topics. Now, the Juneteenth celebration was made a federal holiday in the United States of America, and this is reported on June the 17th, 2021, by the New York Times. Okay? It says, Biden signs law-making Juneteenth. Can y'all see that? No, the light is too bright. But it reads, Biden signs law-making Juneteenth a federal holiday. The law went into effect immediately, making Friday the first federal Juneteenth holiday in American history. So today is the Friday that it first will be celebrated as a national holiday. Washington, this is coming from Washington. President Biden signed legislation on Thursday to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. So that was just yesterday they signed it into law, and today it's already put into effect. So very quickly they passed a whole law and put it into effect immediately. Very interesting. I'm gonna get into that later. Enshrining June 19th as the national day to commemorate the end of slavery in the United States. All Americans can feel the power of this day and learn from our history, Mr. Biden said in a ceremony at the White House, noting that it is the first national holiday established since Martin Luther King's birthday in 1983. He said signing the law was one of the greatest honors he will have as president. The law went into effect immediately, making Friday the first federal Juneteenth holiday. Public schools were closed at a moment's notice. The Federal Office of Personnel Management announced that most federal employees will observe the holiday on Friday. Since June 19th falls on a Saturday this year, so today is June 19th. So this happened Thursday, so within 2 days it was passed. So they observed it on Friday, which was yesterday, instead of today, which is Saturday. At the White House, officials canceled the daily press briefing and pulled down normal meetings for Friday. The Senate rushed the measure through with no debate this week after clearing away a long-standing Republican objection, and the House approved it on Wednesday by a vote of 415 to 14, with all the opposition coming from the GOP. So it's important to note that they did have opposition, okay? It was not just 100% of everybody choosing to vote yes to pass this law, okay? They had a lot of opposition, it says, from the Republicans, But the House approved it. Okay, they still had opposition coming from the GOP. Throughout history, Juneteenth has been known by many names. We don't. That's fine. Um, it stems from the June 19th, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger in Galveston, Texas, issued General Order Number 3, which announced that in accordance with the Emancipation Proclamation, all slaves are free. Months later, the 13th Amendment was ratified, abolishing slavery in the final 4 border states that had not been subjected to President Abraham Lincoln's order. So basically, in a nutshell, in layman's term, what happened is that when slavery was abolished, initially, there were certain states that did not fall under the jurisdiction of President Lincoln's order that slavery had been abolished. And I know particularly Texas was one of them. They still had slavery going on for a long time after slavery had been abolished. And they had to send some people there to tell them, hey, slavery is over. You got to free your slaves. And of course, they were upset about that. And so once the final set of slaves got free, then that's when they said, okay, this is the June 19th date that all of that happened. Okay, so that's basically in a nutshell. All of the rest of the stuff, you can go and look it up yourself. My opinion about this, and I did make bullet points because I like to try to stay on track, because I do tend to get kind of sidetracked and just go off on a tangent. So I did make some notes for myself to try to keep me on track. My first thought is, why are we as a people, melanated people, still accepting breadcrumbs and acting like it's a full course meal? Now, don't get me wrong. I love every opportunity to celebrate our people. I love every opportunity to try to unite our people. Juneteenth, I have already known about Juneteenth like many years ago, and at different times I have, done things to celebrate or join in little parties or gatherings and things like that. That's fine. But do we really need anything else to help us celebrate the end of slavery? Or even to help us celebrate our people? Is that what we really need in America? Is that what we really need from the leadership in America? Come on now, people. We have slavery taught in schools. We have a whole Black History Month, February of every year, where we celebrate the end of slavery, and we celebrate the greatness of our people and the contributions that we've made to the world. Okay, we have lots of different movies celebrating our accomplishments and talking about slavery. We have movies from Roots and Queen to the movie Bella, the movie Cry Freedom, and most recently, we have the movie Harriet. We have enough movies. We have enough talk about slavery. What I would like to hear is the talk moving forward. We don't need to keep talking about slavery and how bad it was and how and another thing I don't like is that when it's being talked about, when our people are being talked about, it is made to seem as if slavery is where we got our start. And that's not true. Our people were great. Our people, melanated people, were the original people of every land on this earth. Europe, Asia, the motherland, like the main land, the main continent of this earth, that they now call Africa, Alaska, what is it? The land down under, Australia, Mexico, and even this land that they call America today. There were melanated people. The people that you see today that call themselves the Native Americans with the light skins where they almost look Caucasian or Mexican or whatever, they got the long stringy like light hair, stuff like that. Those are not the original people and how they looked. The original people of this land, now called America, were melanated people, heavily melanated people, okay, of the darker skin tones. But we come in a variety of skin tones. But what I'm saying is the majority of the people were heavily melanated people. Now, once the colonizers came over and started mixing with us, either through force or by choice, then that's how you got the lighter skinned people that call themselves Native Americans today. But again, of every nation, there was us first, okay? The Mayans, the Aztecs, the Egyptians, the original Asians, okay? So to say that we start in slavery and to keep commemorating slavery and to keep talking about that, it's actually doing us a disservice. It's actually still instilling fear and that we are less than subliminally, okay? Because that's not our start. Our start was as kings and queens and rulers, not from slaves. And also now we've come so far since slavery. America hasn't come far from slavery at all. The only thing I want to hear about slavery from this point forward is talk about reparations, how to make it right. And giving us another day to celebrate it is not how you make it right. There is still inequality in America. There's still unfair practices for melanated people in America. There's still a great gap between wealth and land and education and everything. The only reason why the Caucasians are as wealthy as they are today is a direct result of slavery. Using our people's free labor, forced free labor, our blood, our sweat, our tears, and not giving us a penny in return. Whatever land was cleared, whatever land was captured, it was given to the Caucasians and the immigrants, not to us. And when slavery was abolished, there was still no appropriation of land for us. We were given nothing. We had to start from nothing and try to build something. We had to go out into the wilderness and try to establish our own communities, which we did. We established a lot of different communities, and we were thriving. Black Wall Street is not the only one. We had some in Oklahoma. We had different communities that were thriving. What happened was people got jealous about that. Other people got jealous about that and came in and infiltrated it and destroyed it. And the only reason why they keep doing this to us is because we allow it. Just like we are accepting their breadcrumbs today. We're not putting our foot down and demanding more. Who cares about a federal holiday? That's not closing the wealth gap. That's not helping us financially. That's not helping us in any way. I want something tangible. I'm sorry, see, I went off on a tangent. Let me go back to my notes. The Indians, again, the so-called Native Americans of today, they received reparations from when they were forced off of their land, forced out of their homes, okay? And they were forced up into the reserves where they are right now. not only did they receive reparations, and they still have laws in place to protect them and to help them, like casinos and things like that, to um, help them get finances and things like that. But they're also, even until very recently, still getting laws passed to help them. There was a law passed, I believe, earlier this year or late last year for the Native Americans. A whole new law was passed for them. You don't hear about that, but it's constantly going on. They're constantly joining together and fighting for their rights and getting what they want from the government. Okay? The Japanese were enslaved for a short period of time, right? And guess what? They received their freedom because they banded together and got their freedom. And for the little bit of short time they were enslaved, they received reparations as well. The only people that I know of who did not, even the Jewish people, for all the suffering that they went through, they received reparations and are still receiving different recognitions and honors and reparations and things today, even to their descendants and descendants and descendants. They're still receiving stuff today. Melanated people are the only people who has gone through these horrible experiences for years, been freed from it, and not received any type of compensation whatsoever. A month to celebrate the memory, or a day to celebrate the ending of it, that's not any type of compensation. So what the federal government is shutting down for that day? How is that helping us financially? How is that helping us to gain land? How is that helping us to close the wealth gap? How is that helping us to end discrimination? And as you can see, when they want to pass laws, it doesn't matter who is in opposition to the law. It doesn't matter. If they want to pass it, they're going to pass it. So how about passing a law declaring, I don't know, let's say the KKK is a hate group. How about a law declaring the senseless killing of black people by the police or by other people? How about declaring that as a hate crime? How about making that a law? That would kind of help. Instead of giving these people slaps on the wrist and finding excuses for why what they did was not a heinous terrorist act. Why can't you claim? Listen, this is something to think about. Why isn't, after all of the documented evidence of the KKK, of their actions, of their cruelty, why is it not frowned upon in the government or talked about in the government or criticized in the government or abolished legal-wise from the government? I'll tell you why. It's the same reason why you don't see, like they say, Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus in the same room. These lawmakers are some of the same ones in these KKK groups. Or for my older people that may not know who Miley Cyrus is, or even the younger people don't know who Miley Cyrus is, most people know who Superman is, right? It's the same reason why you don't see Superman and Clark Kent in the same room. Because they're the same person. That's why it's not being signed into law. That's why the KKK is not being declared a terrorist group on the legal level. That's why these crimes against melanated people are not considered hate crimes on the legal level to this day. Why not? That's something simple. That's just a simple law that can be passed. They talk about hate crimes against Asians in America. Why not hate crimes against black people? So for all the Biden supporters that was like, oh, Biden is going to be a good supporter, let me take you back a minute, because I did one video where I was saying, this was before the election, before the voting of the current presidential election that just passed. And I did a video saying, what are they going to offer us for our vote? It's time to stop just voting for people just because of their title, just because they're a Democrat. It's time to stop that and actually demand something. Our ancestors during the civil rights movement, they demanded change. And they went through a lot to get that change as well. But they demanded more. They didn't accept all the breadcrumbs that we accept today. No, they wanted real change, and they stood together until they got that change. We're not demanding anything for our votes nowadays. So they're just giving us breadcrumbs. So before the election, not only me, but a lot of people made videos saying, okay, what are you all going to give us for our vote? And so Donald Trump met with Ice Cube. Ice Cube is a rapper from back in the days, and he's also an actor and director. He does a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, he came up with an ingenious plan called the Contract with Black America. He got together with some wise minds and came up with some different ideas and methods and plans and programs for how to help our people, melanated people, black people in America, to be more successful, to be more self-sufficient, to close the wealth gap, to basically give us some reparations in some small way, or actually some big ways, for all the heinous acts that have been done upon us all these years. And so they came together with this plan of action in these different areas: housing and education and finances and just different areas. And he proposed the plan to whichever presidential candidate would win. He talked to Trump about it, and Trump actually received it. Trump actually met with Ice Cube, and he actually was like, okay, I can incorporate this into my my plans for if I become president again. If I get reelected as president, I can incorporate some of these things into my plan. Yes, I will. But Biden and Kamala didn't even talk about it. Wouldn't even listen to it. Wouldn't even set aside a moment to talk to Ice Cube. Now, Ice Cube said that President Biden's team, somebody on President Biden's team, said that after Biden becomes elected, or did he say President Biden himself said that after he becomes elected, he will consider talking to Ice Cube about it. So he just knew he was going to get elected just on general principle, just because most of our people will vote for him just because he's Democrat. Not because he's doing anything for us, not because he's offering us anything, but just because. So now that he is president, I read on the internet that somebody on President Biden's team actually denied even saying that they would consider that after Biden became president. So they denied even saying they would even talk to Ice Cube at all, even if Biden became president. So I looked online. I said, you know what? Let me just see if Biden has done anything with the contract with Black America, since they want to approve Juneteenth. Let's see how he really feels about Black America. See, and so I did a YouTube search. I'm sorry, not a YouTube search. I did an internet search to see if there's anything about President Biden doing real tangible stuff for our people. And then I cross-referenced Ice Cube's name with Biden. And the most recent thing that I found in here was from February the 4th, 2021. And this was in in the internet search. And it says Ice Cube to meet with President Biden to discuss contract with Black America. Now this is back in February now. This is currently June 2021. And it says the meeting is still in its planning stages, Cube said, but could happen later this month. This was in February. Ice Cube is continuing to push his economic and social justice reform with the new administration. On Wednesday, February 3rd, Cube revealed that Joe Biden and his team had reached out to him and were open to discussing his contract with Black America. He said, Ice Cube said, they reached out, we got to set a meeting. He said it's on the Ryan Cameron Uncensored radio show. Cube revealed that the president and his team got in contact with him on Tuesday, February 2nd. The legendary rapper added that the meeting is still in its early planning stages, and he is not sure what format it will be in, whether by Zoom or in person. They also haven't set a date yet, he shared, though he said the meeting could quite possibly take place later this month. They haven't even set a date for the meeting. They haven't had any more discussion about the meeting apparently since February of 2021. But yet and still, they can go and pass a whole federal holiday in 2 days. How? How is that possible? Because they don't care. Like Michael Jackson said in his song, they don't care about us. And I suggest everybody go and listen to that song and pull up the lyrics of Michael Jackson's song titled "They Don't Care About Us." Let me just play the lyrics of that song so y'all can see where I'm talking about. Hold on just a minute. Oh shoot. Cause I want y'all to pull up this song and actually listen to it. Like, this is, Michael Jackson was really ingenious, and he was a genius. And the reason why I believe that they ended up getting rid of him was because he was just like, he was really getting the message across to like millions of people. Let me just play a little bit of this song. I'm sorry, let me just play a little bit of this song. I'm sorry, let me just, let's see. This is the song I'm talking about right here, Michael Jackson. I suggest you all go and download. I can't play all of the song, of course, because of the whole, YouTube community guidelines and everything, but please go and listen to that music, that song by Michael Jackson, and actually look up the lyrics, because it's so relevant even today. And that song was made like way back when. I think like in, was it the late 90s or something? That song was made, but anyway, still very relevant today. So anyway, I'm just really kind of upset with our people as a whole, because you all are accepting, again, these breadcrumbs from the Democrats. Mind you, I'm not a Republican. I don't want to affiliate with any particular party, because again, I want to see who is going to be doing something for our people. Excuse me. I have allergies. But again, when I see somebody that's actually trying to help advance our people and improve the situation of our people here in America, then that's who I will say I'm a party of. Okay? Until then, if you're not doing anything for me, what's the purpose of my vote for you? And I'm still waiting to see what Biden is going to do for us tangibly. As you can see, they can pass a law in 2 days. They can make a whole change to the whole federal government in 2 days. They declared a federal holiday, meaning the federal institutions have to close down every day on this day every year. Or if the day falls on a Saturday like it did this year, which is the first year to commemorate it, then everything closed down on Friday, yesterday, in the federal government. So they can make change when they want to make change. We have to demand change. We have to stick together, just like the American Indians of today, just like the Japanese, just like the Asians, who else? All these other people. We have to stick together like they're doing and demand change and stop accepting breadcrumbs. And I don't want to make this video any longer than it should be because I want to share it on multiple platforms and multiple groups, and I want people to actually listen to the whole thing. So I don't want to make it too long. That's all I want to say. Just please, people. Yes, Juneteenth is a great holiday. Let's go ahead and celebrate it in whatever way we can. But remember, let's not focus on our people starting with slavery. Let's focus on the greatness of our people before slavery and the greatness of our people today, and how we're going to be even greater in the future, because we will reclaim our rightful position as the leaders, kings, queens, gods, and goddesses of this land that we were the original inhabitants of. Thank you, and I wish peace and light and prosperity to each of you. I love you all. Hotel.